Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TrekCraft server. Yeah, I've gone ahead and joined the TrekCraft server after a couple of years, mainly because the folks here at the TrekCraft server have upgraded to the latest version of Minecraft 1.18.2. I know it's not the latest version, but it is, a later, newer version of Minecraft, and they have updated their resource pack, and I have to say, it's what convinced me to join the server. The tools and the ability to really get into a detailed build with all the additional blocks that are now available. Uh, it convinced me to go ahead and make the leap over to the build server here at TrekCraft. Anyways, this is the Exodus, so I'll do a quick overview on the Exodus here, and then we'll move on to something else, and then I'll show you a couple of the other builds that are kind of ongoing that I've been asked to help out with or kind of lending a hand with. But you know how it is. Yeah, you start on one project and then you get off on a tangent and work on other things and whatnot. So this will be more or less just sort of kind of what I'm doing. But if you really want to check out what's really happening with the TrekCraft server, I highly recommend you join the TrekCraft server. It's trekcraft.org. There are mods and a resource pack that will need to be downloaded. Of course, that information is available on their Discord channel, as well as I will try to have a link to the Discord channel. And don't know how YouTube works anymore as far as links to things, because all the links I used to have in the past all got my videos flagged and I had to go through and edit a bunch of my videos to get rid of a bunch of those links. Yeah. So join the Discord channel, and I will try to have a link for that in the description below. But it's trekcraft.org if you want to join the server, and I highly recommend checking it out because there are some exceptionally talented folks working here, working on builds ranging from the JJ Enterprise all the way up to the modern Discovery Enterprise and Disco. I think somebody's actually working on a Disco Enterprise as well. But anyways, so the Exodus was imported for me, and it's an older version of the ship, not as up to date as the one that was on the Mindtrek server. So I'm going through and I'm updating it and bringing it up to 118.2, and it's been a journey. I've had a lot of fun doing it. I've only managed to do a couple of decks, and there's a lot of work that has to be done. I'm going to go ahead and transition. Here I'm solid, so I'm going to transition down here into a non-solid state and then back. All right, so here we are on the main bridge. This will be deck A, and as you can already see, the acacia blocks and a bunch of the blocks are different. As I go through the build, I'm having to change out some blocks because some blocks work, some blocks don't, but I wanted to keep it vanilla-ish for the most part, but I will most likely start using a lot of the TrekCraft blocks, and as you go through the resource pack here, you can see there are a lot of them, and some of them are very useful. Like this JJ Light trap door is really nice. And again, you have a spruce trap door, which is now a nice wood, and we have a birch trap door, which is now that nice black birch trap door. So there are a lot of really nice additions to moving from 112 all the way up to 118. Anyway, so we have KT consoles, which are a bunch of consoles. They have a Star Wars part if you want to do a Star Wars ship. Then you have, of course, your era-based stuff, Kelvin timeline, which is got some really nice blocks. These blue blocks from the Kelvin timeline are just gorgeous. There are a couple of folks working on a Olympic class starship, and they're using some of those blocks in a grotto area or a arboretum section of their hospital ship, and I have to tell you, it was really neat to look at. So anyways, if you bounce through here, you can see there are a lot of nice options for blocks and whatnot. And we go to page 4. We even have this thing called markers now, which allow us to, place marker blocks on things. So no longer do we have to type it in floor or put out signs. We just drop a couple of marker blocks, and pretty much everybody knows what that room is going to be used for, and you can tell what deck you're on and everything else. So yeah, a lot of really nice additions to this resource pack, and it's a ongoing development, so it is not by any means done. It's constantly being updated. So let's go ahead and bounce around here. So we're on deck A or deck 1 of the Exodus. It's a Constitution class era ship, of course. I really wanted to do one for like the movie motion picture era. So but I had to just, make the Exodus slightly different than the motion picture ship based off of the hull I was working with. And I don't remember the exact details, but this hull is a modified hull. As you can see, it does have dual impulse engines on it with a centerline aft torpedo launcher, a thicker neck that allows for a lot more robust detailing on the interior. This nice sensor dome platform or warp, I don't know what that is. All I know is it's cool and I like it and we're keeping it. Anyways, so we'll come back through here real quick and we'll go ahead and go down the stairwell here down to deck 2 or B deck. And this is mainly like a VIP quarters. You know, you have a nice little VIP area here. It's not really big because it's a smaller deck, but you know, at least you got a couple of nice little crew quarters in here. And I'm going to change out this floor block. It's too dark for my taste. I'll probably change it out to like a lighter gray like I did on another build, which I'll show you here in a second, that the folks here at the TrekCraft server started, and I have to tell you, I really like it. It's a fearless class update, so I've been having a lot of fun with that as well. This is a like a damage control locker, EVA locker sort of thing, emergency survival locker. These things are bunkers. Basically, if the ship explodes, you're in one of these. You might survive because it's designed to keep you alive in the event the ship explodes. It's like a life pod, except that it doesn't jettison from the ship until the ship explodes, or they cut into the ship and knock on the door and say, "Hey, come on out. We got a temporary airlock here. Come on." So it's just a last ditch sort of, you know, repository for people who can't get to escape pods. We have a, what did I call this? This is the Electronic Warfare Center. There will be a computer core added. It will be a very primitive computer core looking thing because I'm not a real good detail guy. Then over here we have the Combat Information Center. Then again, more crew quarters and, well, VIP quarters. And then up here we have a nice little conference room area. While I'm here, let's go ahead and fix these real quick. I apologize, those might be a little noisy, breaking blocks and whatnot, but it is what it is. Okay, so we'll go back this way here and work our way down to deck 3 or C deck. That's got to go this way here. Well, actually, we can do it from right here as we go down this way right here. This is the aft upper um, crew area. You got a little pool table right there. Yeah, come down through here. And I really tried to make this area look a lot like you saw it in the motion picture because I was trying to emulate the Enterprise from the motion picture. And regrettably, because different hull, subtly changes had to be made. So now this is, of course, the Exodus and not the Enterprise. Not the Enterprise A, because that's a different class altogether. This is the Enterprise based off the Enterprise from the motion picture era. But yeah, you get this nice area down here, a waterfall, kind of kick back, relax, you know, sh shoot the breeze, whatnot. Let's go ahead and fix these while we're here. Like I said, there's a lot of blocks and stuff that I have to go through and I have to fix them and adjust. Over here we have the space bathroom and the stairwell that goes down to deck 3 or C deck. And then over here we have a display wall, but there's nothing to display yet, although there are a lot of things that can be put in there, which are pretty cool. Thanks to this resource pack. Anyways, we're down here on C deck or deck 3. We have a first aid station. And then, of course, we have batteries, and that's what denotes the yellow here. And we have a little crossover area here. Um, okay. So we can't do what I want to do there. So we're going to go ahead and, whoops, got to fix this real quick here. And we'll put that there. And what we'll use again, we'll use these JJ trap light doors. At that, I have to tell you, I really liking this stuff. Because it's just it's a trapdoor and it's a light source and it works really well for hiding stuff up in there and the details and whatnot. So yeah, I like it. Anyway, so did I update these? Yes, I did. I changed out the metal trap door for this like bed bench thing, and I'm using the birch trap door for these things. So again, trying to update the whole build as I go along. Anyways, let's work our way forward here. We have little access area here to work on, bridge module stuff, and then we have again, VIP or staff crew quarters. This is where the admiral or Commodore would stay. Have a little open area right here. I don't remember if I actually changed this out in the Mindtrek version of the Exodus. Perhaps I did, perhaps I didn't. It's been a long time since I've been able to get online and play around, and I've been actually focusing my time between working here on TrekCraft and doing some modded Minecraft with my other friends and whatnot, and I haven't had a chance to get back onto the Minecraft server and check things out. But that's an archive server. A lot of excellent builds from the last 12 years are on that server, and I highly recommend if it's still up and available that you go on the Minecraft server as well and check out the builds and history on that server because it is deep, deep in history. It's it's where it all began. Anyway, so we have a VIP. Oops, we got a door we got to open. Smaller conference room. Okay, so we have a conference room up here on deck 3, and then of course we have, I believe these are VIP quarters. Yeah, these are VIP quarters. I think on it's deck 4 is where all the main crew quarters are for the bridge staff and whatnot. But I think on this version, I think I also put the captain and the first officer's quarters on deck 2. So yeah, we have a nice large briefing room area right here. And then if we come along over here, we have a kitchen area, because they still prepare food in space. Freezer. Again, I love these new trapdoors. I mean, these beat the heck out of those metal trapdoors 10 to 1. Absolutely. Little stove area there with fans, little kitchen area here for, dishes. Walk over this way here, and we cut through this door here. This is, an entrance into the computer core. Again, I will have that. And again, another, security or damage control locker area right here. And we'll walk over this way here. And this is pretty much the extent of what I've done with the Exodus as far as updating it goes. So we'll go ahead and work our way to the aft section here. And I'll bounce out, go back up this way here. And we'll buzz on over to the Fearless. And there's the Fearless. At least I hope it's the right Fearless, because there are 2 of them on the server. One of them I'm working on, and the other one's sort of sitting there for other people to work on. I think this is the one I'm actually working on because, yep, it is because it has a phaser up there. But look at this ship. I mean, you have to admit, I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the blue and everything else and all the fun stuff. Getting a little bit of lag there. Apologize. I don't know what causes that, but it is what it is. But if you look down here, per astra ad astra, or my Latin sucks, but let's go ahead and not do that. Let's go ahead and slow down here real quick. Basically transfer through hardship to the stars. That's the motto of this ship. And you can see the TrekCraft folks started a really nice updated version based off the Exodus into a Fearless class for me, and I greatly appreciate it. Since then, I've come through and done a lot of work on it. I've added the forward phaser cannons. These are new for this particular class. I've also added the lower saucer torpedo launcher. That was a lot of fun. And I haven't added the these are intercoolers. The ship has a lot of got to radiate heat off and things like that. I have no idea what those are, but yeah, we've got the big RCS thrusters right here, and then we have the command dome. And let's go ahead and got to remember my shortcut keys here. Of course, this comes with an upper saucer hangar, and it is quite spacious, I have to admit. Also has quad nacelles, and this allows the ship to operate more efficiently at warp speed and maintain warp speed longer and higher warp speed because it can oscillate between these 2 warp coils, or excuse me, the warp nacelles. And while these are in line, these ones are being adjusted to be back in line, and then they can maintain maximum warp speed for twice as long as a standard ship, theoretically indefinitely, as long as they can provide power and keep the switching between the nacelles, they can maintain full maximum warp. I'm going to, in this spot right here, I've been thinking about it, I'm going to add an additional impulse engines for the drive section because the ship does have a separation plane, and it does have a combat bridge in the drive hall. So the saucer can go off and do its thing, and then it needs to land. It's not going to be able to land because it doesn't have landing gear, but it can crash. So thank God for those survival bunkers. But yeah, I think I'm going to add because I have a nice big open space behind here. I'll show you real quick as we buzz in here. This open area here, so I can easily, that's a transporter thingy, that's a phaser thingy, put a small impulse engine system in here. And then the drive hall will have its own independent impulse engines. And it does have RCS thrusters. I know it has them in the forward section here, and that's really all you need, but might make it drive like a flying brick, but is what it is. But it has a lot of weaponry. I have upper phaser beams there, and we have the outboard phaser beams over here, and then again down here you have more phaser beams, and in the aft section you've got extra ball turret point defense phasers there. You got a couple of phasers here, plus an aft torpedo launcher there. There's the door. I don't know why it was removed, but it's kind of cool they did that. Then you got your upper phasers up here, and then you got nice dual aft torpedo launchers right here, and then you swing around, you got your neck phasers, and you have your broadside torpedo launchers because why not? You know, I think it looks cool, and Shadow Appler recommended it, so I went ahead and did what he recommended and put those in there. That's kind of cool. Loving it. Anyways, the brace section here. I had thought at one time at like making this an impulse engine, but they had already turned this into a torpedo launcher, which is what the standard placement of the aft torpedo launcher is on the Fearless class anyways, but I always figured if I was going to update it, I'd turn that into an impulse engine, but there's really not a lot of room back there for that, so that's why I decided to put the impulse engines up here, because there's a nice little alcove back here that they can fit in and whatnot. Yeah, it's a beautiful build. I really like this. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Again, I've been working my way through it, and I'll do a separate video on the Fearless here, going through it and showing you all the fun stuff and the new bridge and how the TrekCraft team have set it up and everything. Just a lot of fun. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to go to the what? Whoa, check that out. Yeah, that's the map. Look at how gorgeous that is. It's just beautiful. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and you can see here I have a whole bunch of builds. My Enterprise E, that's from 22. It's an outdated version. No, actually, I think it's the last version that I worked on, so it's at least 2 to 3 years old. We got an Oberth, we got the Apollo, old D, all kinds of weird stuff through here. Let's go ahead and de-saucer work in progress. Let's go ahead and transport to that real quick here and see if we can load up. Oh yeah, we loaded up just fine. So anyways, one of the team members has been working on the Enterprise D, and they have done an out. This is a much larger Enterprise D than the version 2, which was uh, Mind Trek, the Halkun version, which I think was the version 1, and or the version 3, which is the one we did way back when, and that's actually been updated as well, but I don't think that one's ready for show yet. I think it's still being worked on, and there's somebody actually dedicated to working on that, and I want to chat with them and have them on chat when we do talk about that build or the updates on that build. But anyways, this right here is really the whole work is amazing. This is the saucer, of course, and I've been working on this with the person who's been working on that, and that'd be Calvin. But Calvin's really just nailed it out of the park on this. Look at the quality detail. This is absolutely just look at these latches. I mean, my God, where were you when we were working on the version 3? Wow, this is just. I mean, they even got the bent, that funny eyeball like phaser thing on there. Oh my gosh, and the hull work down here and down here is just beautiful. If I turn off gamma bright, it doesn't work. I was hoping that it would give us some different depths. But anyways, they're still working on the detail and everything else. But Calvin's off working on a Voyager build right now, so kind of got burned out on this. But what I've done with it is I think I started helping them on deck 4 down. So they have decks 1 through 5, 4, 5 designed already. So they have the bridge and the secondary deck, and then down through here they have the hangar. If you take a look at this hangar, it's just absolutely gorgeous. I started helping them with this section on the interior of this section, but it's been mirrored, so there are things that are kind of still a little funky, haven't been fixed yet. That they know about them and they're going to work with them. And if you drop down here, they're still working on this big runabout shuttlecraft bay down here. This is where I kind of helped lay this out. I didn't lay it out. I just, they said this is what we want to do, and I'm like, okay, and worked around it and whatnot. So a bunch of fun stuff through here. Let's go ahead and slow down a little bit. And I'll show you here real quick kind of what I've been working on. Let's peek down through here because it's impressive. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Yeah, kind of neat. So we started on deck 4, and I've done a couple of revisions of this deck area here because, things change and whatnot. Now, technically, this is deck 5, just FYI. Even though it's deck 4, it's technically deck 5 because 10 forward is on Deck 10. And now we know that 10-4 is just the name of the place. It doesn't really correspond to where it is on the starship because Whoopi Goldberg's Guinan character had a bar in San Francisco and it was called 10 Forward. So the name 10 Forward came from that, which of course is 300 years in the past. So 10 Forward on the Galaxy D doesn't mean Deck 10 Forward, albeit that is where it is allegedly on the ship is Deck 10 Forward. But we all know that the Galaxy is much, much larger, and that is not Deck 10, that is actually Deck 12. Yeah, so again, reality meets, fiction meets reality when it comes to defining things. You can say a building has 45 levels and draw it that way and show it on TV that way, but when you go to build it, turns out it has 48 levels. It is what it is. Just got to go with it. So yeah, I started working on this deck 4 area, deck 5 area, whatever, and a couple of large cargo capacity storage rooms here, and then transition down here. And this is, not based off of anybody's plans. It's just sort of kind of a free build sort of a thing, loose build sort of thing. So it's kind of, we want to have something unique for TrekCraft, and something that when they break this out into deck plans, they'll be unique to this version of the ship. And I'm not sure if this is the Galaxy class or the Enterprise. Either way, I'm not sure what they're going to name it. But we got a nice big area here for the phasers to come around. Then it drops down here for, whatever attachments you have to the phaser. And then you got your turbo lifts and your Jeffries tubes, your stairwells. You got a large grotto up here. These are mock-ups for crew quarters. I started working on these to sort of kind of try to fill them in, and yeah, everything's subject to change because it's not my build, it's Calvin's build, and Calvin has his way of doing things and changing things and making things unique for what Calvin's doing. But you can see they've been working in here. Well, they started working in here, and whatnot. We come back here, we get a nice look at the computer cores and whatnot. Yeah, these things are massive. Look at that, absolutely huge. We come down here and go down a couple of decks and fly around here. You can see things are coming together back through here, and this is where I'd set for fusion reactors to go, but um, we have a section of the ship pulled out for marrying or managing the link up between the primary hull and the secondary hull, and yeah, come down through here, drop down through. All this area was modified to, yeah. It's not in this version of the ship, but it's over there, and yeah. Anyways, down here you have the captain's yacht, the Callisto or Calisio or whatever they call it, and then you have a big area right here, so you can look in on it. If you come up here, you have a theater, and this is ripped out of uh, the oh crap, I can't name the name of that ship. I get asked about that a lot in comments and stuff, but I honestly don't remember the name of it. But anyways, this is the theater out of that ship, the Vesta. That's what it was, the Vesta. Yeah, I just took it out of the Vesta because why not? You know. So over here we have the whale tanks. Now this is optional. They may or may not keep these, but this is the whale escape pod, and if you drop down below you can see there's just explosive hatches right there so the escape pods can go out. Now there are some plans out there that show the escape pods coming into the clamshell and going out the clamshell, but yeah, don't no. Anyway, so here it is, a big whale tank, or dolphin tank, whatever you want to call it, and you fly around and go from one side to the other through this little passageway here, and then you fly under the theater and whatnot. But yeah, so there are some minor issues with this design because, yeah, the inclusion of the large hangar required these be routed differently. This is the red one is the emergency transport battle bridge from the main bridge to the battle bridge. Normally it would just fly back through here and into this section here and whatnot, but this whole area back through here has been modified. So there's not a lot of room for conventionally doing that. So we kind of did some workarounds, and so yeah, it kind of goes this way, then that way, and yeah, it works. Yeah, I mean it works. Yeah, it's subject to change, but Calvin will modify it however Calvin sees fit. But we get down through here, and we have these What Panic coined these back when we were working on the D3. He coined these as supply pods. In the event that the ship, you have to evacuate the ship, you're in the escape pods. These things you can link up to them, and they would have things like replicators, bathrooms, food processing, storage for materials, things like that to keep you alive and your escape pod functional for many, many, many months. Because, space is vast. You never know when you're going to get rescued. But unfortunately, there's no room. Yeah, and right below here is the hull. So, yeah, there's really not a lot of room for these through here, and so they're going to be very, very small, none like they were with the D where they were pretty big. It is what it is. You gotta, work with what you got, and this is what we got, and they're going to have to work with it. And your escape pods, they're going to have to be a fixed size as well, or they're not going to fit. So, yeah. They might be able to get two or three, like we did when I did the version 3. I had multiple escape pods through the silos, but they're not going to do that with this version. I think each hatch will have one escape pod, and that'll pretty much be it. So, anyways, that's pretty much what I've been working on over here at the TrekCraft server, and I hope that you get take the time to come and check out some of the builds and chat with the folks on Discord. They've got a pretty active Discord channel and a lot of neat stuff going on. A lot of people actively building stuff, and you should check it out because it's cool. Anyways, thanks for watching, and y'all have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.